On the record, Robin Holsinger.
This case number 22-122. Dale Howard, Robin Holsinger, Robin Holsinger, returning there to the jail. Right, this hearing is by jail review. Being conducted. The defense attorney by Zoom from the jail, or attorney is Dennis Kirk. Attorney by Zoom from his office, and then also from the prosecutor's office and the assistant prosecutor. Okay, the defendant was arraigned on Tuesday on a 6-count indictment. The bond was set in the amount of $10,000 without counsel, so Rule 46 for the indictment review hearing. Mr. Kirk, anything you'd like to say regarding bond?
This case was basically kind of on the background yet. It doesn't look like this is the first felony case of this sort. I was looking at prior damage to the ear. It looked like she's able to suggest for this area of bond reduction or no more.
Mr. King.
Thank you, Your Honor. These charges are back charges of felony. The same goes to the current felonies for thank you.
Ms. Holsinger, is your full name Robin Elaine Holsinger? The last four of your social security number 6886. All right. Well, I have a report of the Ohio Court of Networks, 12 cases, extremely long. Shows quite a few previous convictions and several prison terms being closed. And also shows failure to appear warrant 97 in Summit County, failure to appear warrant 93 in Summit County, several warrants and charges for misrepresenting identity, and there's entries from Cleveland, Canton, Stowe, Akron, Fairlawn, Summit County. So, given the extensive history outside of this county and the history of failure to appear, the criminal history, court feels that bond of $10,000 is not reasonable to shorter appearance. So, able to make. Your pre-trial is set for the 20th of July. Ms. Holsinger, so you're very good in touch with you before that. Thank you. All right. Okay, I need Mr. Parkson, Ms. Witz logging in now. Okay. All right, are you Thomas Parks there at the jail? Well, Marcia. Here's that was six. All right, case number 22-CR49, State of Ohio versus Thomas Parks. Parks was carried by Zoom jail. His attorney is Danielle Witt, also from the state is attorney Adam King. His office. The defendant was arraigned on Tuesday on charge of failure to comply with first-degree felony. And bond was set at about $5,000. And Ms. Witt appointed to represent the defendant. Ms. Witt, say anything regarding bond?
Yes, Your Honor, you asked for a reduction of bond or a work on. I have not had the opportunity to speak with Mr. Hirsch yet. I think he does have ties to the community and am unaware of any previous failures it appears.
Mr. King?
Thank you, Your Honor. She could ask for the bond to be replaced. Note that this plaintiff failed to appear at the hearing in this case. This was February 1st. The warrant and the issue were not checked. History of the court supervision convicted 16 anthrax robbery. Based on that, the state would look like $5,000. And
All right, well, based on the defendant's failure to appear in the preliminary hearing, plus the fact that he is on PRC and doesn't have previous prison sentences, bond will remain the same, $5,000, actually less than what I would normally set this as storage and 10,000, so bond will remain the same. Mr. Kirk, you don't have any more videos this morning, I don't think. Mr.
Rickman is vice mayor. I have Mr. Rickman.
Well, he's here. So, when we're done, we need to, that's Mr. Rickman.
No, that was
Oh, I'm sorry.
people with Holsinger. Rickman's in jail.
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought that was Mr. Rickman report, so you're okay. Okay. Sorry.
If they've
All
got,
right, well, Ms. Witt, I understand you're gonna cover for Mr. Armstrong?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, you give Mr. Gillespie, Lieutenant Brown?
if you want to do Rickman, if they can get him in there before the out of areas,
Yeah.
is Denny, he's covering that one, not Bolger, on the Rickman. Denny's down as one on one case and Bolger's on the other case, but
All right. Case of 220145, State Fire versus Sean Michael Gillespie. You're Sean Michael Gillespie.
Yes, sir. Your Honor.
All right, this is a bond review hearing. Mr. Gillespie was arraigned on Tuesday, I believe, or actually Wednesday, and bond was set. His attorney was appointed as Mr. Armstrong. He's not available, but Ms. Liz, when you fill in for him, she's there in her office and appearing from the prosecutor's office. Mr. King, then was indicted on police assault, peace officer granted that motor vehicle aggravated possession of methamphetamine, and bond was set down $25,000. So, with anything you'd like to say regarding the bond review?
Yes, sir. I request the court for reduction and just doing a very quick search. I haven't had a chance to talk with them. I did not see any previous convictions in this court, and I believe that he doesn't place.
Mr. King?
And Your Honor, state that in place, count one being first found was obviously serious or on a full check with them that just in 2020 in this court we convicted of failure to appear. Based on that, the state would ask for notice.
All right, based upon the nature of these charges, the criminal history, and the defendant has previously served first time, the court will leave bond in place. Your attorney will be in touch with you, Mr. Gillespie. We have a pre-trial set for you, I believe, on the 20th in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Please, my attorney.
Your attorney is Mr. Armstrong. He was not available this morning, that's why this witness covering for him, but he will be representing you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Do you have any witnesses you're going to need on the Rickman case, Mr. King? Because we're, we can go ahead and get him done. We'll need Mr. Rickman next, Lieutenant Brown.
Based on my conversation with Mr. Kerr, I believe that would be necessary.
All right, well, as soon as they get him in there, we'll go ahead and move forward then. And I have two hearings at 9 a.m. that are videos of the institution. Mr. Moore and Mr. Tyson, so.
are those Zooms or on the bridge, Judge?
Bridge. Anything from the prison has to be bridge.
Okay.
They're not Zoom yet. All right, are you Bryson Rickman? All right, we have two cases involving Mr. Rickman, 220962, 22CR94. Both state of Ohio versus Bryson Lee Rickman. Mr. Rickman is appearing from the jail. The hearing will be conducted by Zoom. His attorney is Dennis Kirk. appearing in his office by Zoom, Representative Stacy, Assistant Prosecutor King, also appearing by Zoom. Mr. Kirk, you and your client both agreed to this hearing being conducted by Zoom, rather than he required me to prosecute the court, personally.
Yes, Your Honor.
Right. The defendant was convicted of aggravated trafficking in a fentanyl-related compound in case number 22CR94, 2 counts, and count 3, and then also aggravated trafficking in a fentanyl-related compound. The other case, 62, count 1, and he was placed on control June 1st. There was a notification filed in this case, the magistrate apparently while I was off, notified Mr. Rickman on the 29th of June, and alleged that he violated Rule 7. And that he had a number of failed drug screens, that prescription, 66, 67, 69, for fentanyl, marijuana, 614, fentanyl, marijuana, cocaine, morphine. Rule 19, he left passing out without permission on 624.2. He was there for 4 days here on 20th, 11th, 24. The defense notified Mr. Kirk appointed to represent him. Matter set for evidence hearing today. All right, Mr. Kirk, we had an opportunity to consult with your client about these proceedings.
I have, Your Honor, I've never been right to hearing that we should waive that right.
All right. Mr. Rickman, each of these offenses are fourth degree felonies which carry a potential sentence of between 6 and 18 months, and the second sentence is imposed on all three of the 54 months possible. You have the right to have a hearing, which is legally required to present evidence and proof to the court that you committed these violations. You have rights to hear attorney cross-examination. You also may testify in your behalf, whether you're on the part. If you admit to these violations or if there's a hearing and you're found committed those after the hearing and actually evidence, then one of 3 things can happen. I can continue to control the same conditions previously ordered. I can continue with additional conditions I think are appropriate. Or the third and most serious is that I can vote to control, as I said, since you 26 and 54 months, plus I could find you as much as $50,000. You understand all that? You understand your right to hear? And has anyone promised you anything or threatened you in any way to get you to admit to these violations? Do you have any questions about the charges? You understand them? Okay. All right, and do you admit or deny the allegations as filed in the June 29th notification? Right. Well, it's a pretty short period of control without reliability. Mr. Balser, Mr. Canyon, thank you. Like to say regarding the disposition of this?
Thank you, Your Honor. That's a serious question. Particularly violation occurred. And I do prepare one way to pick out 2 days. As consistently, I have tested on the defendant. Over all that being said, the station case, although we did not shot, the case however, was going to be arrested.
Sir, anything you'd like to say?
Thank you, Your Honor. We did discuss the issue with my client, and obviously 5 days of being treatment. He reports to me that he was at a Maxie house that some racial slurs were made at him. He knows that him, he not want to assault anyone, doing anything in the past. So he relapsed prior to playing treatment, and so he walked away from treatment. Reports to me he contacted the probation department right away, told them that he with that asking for us to continue to be controlled, and I was already under treatment option that was being recommended.
He did turn himself in, Mr. Paul.
Yes, sir.
Anything you'd like to say, Mr. Rickman? Mr. Rickman, I think that it's doubtful that you're really serious about getting treatment. It's easy to make an excuse for something not to do. You said you have been drinking and using drugs since you were in your teens, early teens, and you had a lot of history of using drugs. In high school, don't have any, don't seem to have much in the way of any plans for your life, and that's very concerning. So I'm going to give you a chance to see, Mr. Kirk, review. I think okay, there we go. It has some feedback showing it was no interview, but now it's gone. All right. So, because this is your first felony conviction, I am going to give you one more chance. And so, as the order of court control be continued, additional conditions will be that you successfully complete STAR. You'll remain in jail until you go STAR. And you also must successfully complete aftercare. Now, STAR is a lockdown facility, so you can't walk away from it. But I can tell you right now, if you do not successfully complete STAR, when I say successfully complete, that means what it says, successfully complete. Complete means 100%, not 90%, not 98%, not 99%, 100%. And if you get kicked out of STAR, then that will most likely be considered a violation of your community control. If that happens, this is your last chance. You're going to go to prison. So that's make up your mind, focus on your recovery, and there are going to be difficulties out there, and I'm sure that I know there's still people out there that are narrow-minded and use racial slurs, and I'm sorry that you have to go through that. You can't let that be an excuse for relapsing and not doing what you're supposed to do. It's not a justification. My dad used to say 2 wrongs don't make a right. And so, if you don't complete it, you better expect to be going to prison. All right, do you have any questions? All right, anything for the council? All right, thank you. All right, we have the videos here coming up at 9 o'clock. I think you're on 1 or 2 of those, Mr. Kirk. All right, we'll see you both here shortly. All right, Joshua Moore is Daniel Whip. All right. Hey, This is interesting, it says, we just was Mac and more about, and he's under Mac and Iceland, I know that's not Mr. Iceland. Alright. Case number 220107, State of Ohio versus Joshua Moore. You are Joshua Moore there, sir? Can you speak up, please? Alright, thank you. We're showing a split screen where and for the record, Mr. Moore is appearing on the screen that says MACI Tyson. And then there's another one that says waiting for MACI Moore, so he's just under the wrong screen. I know this is not Mr. Tyson. Alright, case number 220107. Mr. Ice is charged, or Mr. Moore is charged with aggravated possession of methamphetamine. The state is represented in the courtroom by Assistant Prosecutor King, and also Mr. Moore's attorney, Daniel Witt, is also present in the courtroom. The charge, the third degree felony, and this is over, I said, fifth degree felony, looking at the wrong field of my bifocals. The final pretrial sentence July 27th, and a trial sentence August 22nd. Now, I see Ms. Witt has been provided with the discovery and the bill of particulars. You haven't got your discovery yet, though.
That's correct.
And again, if you had a chance to talk to him yet.
No, not yet.
Okay. All right. Your discovery will be due by the final pretrial, and anticipating pretrial motions, Ms. Witt.
No, none at this time.
Okay. And has been a written plea offer provided.
Yes, it has.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do this. I'll go ahead and vacate the courtroom and let you talk to Mr. Moore here for a couple minutes, and when we're done, I think we'll switch over to Mr. Rice.
Okay, thank you.
So everyone will go off record, and State of Ohio versus Ronald C. Eisen, case number 2201. You are Ronald C. Eisen, appearing there from the institution.
Yes, sir.
All right. This is a pretrial. Mr. Eisen's attorney is Dennis Kerr. He is present in the courtroom. Also present in the courtroom is Assistant Prosecutor King. Defendant is charged with 3 counts of aggravated trafficking in fentanyl-related compound, 1 in the school zone, actually 2 in the school zone, and 3 counts of aggravated possession of fentanyl-related compound, plus a forfeiture specification. This is a first pretrial. The final pretrial is set for, I believe that is July the 27th in person, and trial is set for the 22nd of August. Now, see that there has been discovery and bill of paper provided to the defense counsel, I should say. And Mr. Kirk, have you filed for discovery yet?
I have not yet, Your Honor.
All right, you're to do the final pre-trial. And the anticipated pre-trial motion.
Not at this time.
All right, has been officially out provided.
There's been one provided, yes.
Have you had a chance to keep your client yet?
I have not.
All right, well, I'll give you a chance to talk to this, but, anything else from the attorney that you discuss at this point?
Sure.
All right, Mr. Eisen, let's talk to your attorney here for a few minutes, and we'll have you brought back for the 27th.
All right, thank you,
All
sir.
right, thank you. All right. Step down then. If you would try to keep about 5 minutes, and I got
Yeah, I've got to be
6
out.
agreements waiting out the jail.
I've got to be out of this court anyway, so.
All right.
What's up first?
Whoa, what happened there? Huh, lost the call. Okay, sorry about that, we actually got a malfunction up here. You Robert Bolthouse?
Yes, I am.
Alright, this is case number 22 CR 150, State of Ohio versus Robert Bolthouse. Bolthouse was indicted by the grand jury yesterday, along with 3 co-defendants. Looks like Mr. Bolthouse are charged in count 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Okay. Count 9 is aggravated trafficking and fentanyl-related compound, which alleges that on or about November 3rd, 2021, this county, you knowingly sold rock fentanyl-related compound in the city of school zone. Count 10 is possession, alleges that you possess the same amount, or the same thing on that date. Count 11 alleges that you sold fentanyl in Hines County on about November 15, 2021. Count 12 alleges you possessed it on that same date. Count 13 alleges that on or about November 15, you alleged committed counts 11 and 12. You had a firearm on or about your person. All committee has that. Count 14 is alleges that you committed about November 15, 2021. You are the owner, operator, person charged with vehicle that you committed to be used for commission of felony drug abuse offense, aggravated trafficking, and felony. Now, counts 9. Count 9 is a third-degree felony which carries a possible prison term between 9 and 36 months, fine of $10,000. Count 10, 12, and 14 are all fifth-degree felonies. Carry a possible prison term between 6 and 12 months, fine of $2,500. Count 11 is a fourth-degree felony. Carry a possible prison term between 6 and 18 months, fine of $5,000. All of those have possible license suspension 6 months to 5 years. And in count 3, the gun specification carries a mandatory term. I believe that one would be 1 year. Yeah, I believe that was 1 year. Now you're entitled to have an attorney to represent you. And if you don't have funds to hire a corporal appointment for you, I see you have to fill out a financial disclosure statement. Is everything on this correct?
Yes.
And you're on Social Security disability? Or
Yes, I am.
Alright, what is the condition for which you're on the disability?
I've got a broken back.
Okay. Alright. And you've not been in court on this one, this case previously?
No, I'm not doing for real.
Alright. Alright. Alright, the court will appoint an attorney, with to represent you. And in the absence of counsel, I'll enter a not guilty plea on your behalf. Set a bail review hearing for Monday the 11th at 9 a.m. First pre-trial will be August the 3rd at 1 p.m. It'll be a Zoom hearing. Final pre-trial will be September 7th at 1 p.m. a Zoom, and trial date will be September 19th at 8 a.m. Bond will be set in the amount of $10,000 plus your oath of cognizance, which is your promise to appear. And if you fail to appear, then you could be prosecuted for additional felony and convicted. Sentence on that regardless of after this case. You'll be required to pay a deposit of $171 before you're released to cover certain statutorily required fees. If you make that bond, you'll get a pre-trial supervision probation department, 117 East Main Street. You'll report to them immediately upon your release. You'll be required to report to them once a week for 4 weeks, and after that, if they determine or ready for drug testing in their order, provide phone numbers to all self-employer. It is recommended by the probation department to evaluate the substitution of mental health issues and treatment indicated enrolled in all that repentance action. You'll also get a house arrest at your residence, meaning you have to be there at all times, whether you're working or to and from work, medical appointments, court proceedings, in this or any other case. May also go to appointments with an attorney or probation officer in this or any other case, go to church services, attend any kind of educational programming. Other than that, you have to be there at all times, and if you fail to comply, then the bond will be revoked, and you can be held until further order. Any questions, Mr. Bullhouse?
Yes, Your Honor. I previously was in TCC down by Portsmouth, and I'm 16 days clean, and I was supposed to go back there tomorrow. I just came up to take care of my finance, but somebody broke into my hand, so I went back.
Well, talk to your attorney about that. We'll consider that. We'll have a bond review hearing Monday morning, and if you want to give him or her a call, maybe they'll talk to her today. She may be coming out to jail. I know she was just here in court. Several attorneys are headed out to jail after the court, so you may be able to talk to her about that. And you bring it up if we ever be here again. Right? Thank you. Are you Christopher L. Pence? Alright, this case number 22-0152, General Howard versus Christopher L. Pence. Pence was indicted by the grand jury yesterday along with several co-defendants. It looks like he was indicted in counts 1 through 4, and it looks like count 1 is aggravated possession of fentanyl-related compound. Count 2 is aggravated possession of meth. Count 3 is trafficking of drugs. Count 4 possession of drugs. Count 1 alleges that on or about March 12th of 2021, you and Amber Coyle possessed fentanyl. Count 2 alleges on the same date, 2 of you possessed methamphetamine. Count 3. Just be quiet, that does find you the charges. Count 3 is alleged on or about December 18th that you knowingly sold or offered to sell Norfolk. And count 4 alleges that on or about December 18th you knowingly possessed that. Now, counts 1, 2, and 3 are 5th-degree felonies, very possible prison term that convicted of 26 to 12 months. And a fine of $2,500. count 4 is the first degree misdemeanor repairs in jail term of 6 months, $100,000. And the first 3 counts also carry possible license suspension 6 months to 5 years. You're entitled to have an attorney to represent you. If you can't afford to hire one, we'll appoint one for you. And I see you have filled out a financial disclosure form. Is everything on this form correct?
Yes, sir.
When's the last time you were employed?
I do work, but it's just, I get paid in cash, so technically it's not a payroll. I don't have a job.
Where's that you get paid to work?
I just work part-time.
I asked where, or who? Who's your employer?
Peter Borcher.
Alright, and how much you get paid?
It just depends on work. I might not work for a month. I might work for, a few weeks straight.
Alright.
I had work all the next few, this week. I was going to work when I got.
Alright, that's good enough. Okay, I'll find that you're entitled to appointed counsel. Is this the first time you've been in court on this case?
Yes, sir.
Alright. Alright, the court will appoint, Sarah Barber of Hillsborough, Ohio, will represent you. And in the absence of counsel, under a, not guilty plea on your behalf. You served 1 previous prison term?
Yes, sir. Bye.
Alright, bond will be set, bail review hearing will be set Monday morning, the 11th at 9 o'clock. First pre-trial will be set for August 3rd at 1 p.m. by Zoom. Final pre-trial will be September the 7th at 1 o'clock by Zoom. And trial will be set for September the 26th at 8 a.m. Bond will be set at the amount of $2,500 plus your open cognizance. If your current promise to appear, if you fail to appear, you could be prosecuted for official felony. No matter what happens in this case, you will be required to pay a deposit prior to release of $171 for statutorily required fees. You may want to be under pre-trial supervision probation department, 117 Main Street, report that immediately upon your release. And then once legal for 4 weeks after that same term, under random drug testing, provide phone numbers from home self-employer, and recommended by probation, you can be evaluated for substance mental health issues. Any treatments indicated for role in us, all that are intended to this action. You'll also be under house arrest at your residence at 6735 or 55.
35.
6735 Feathermore Trail. You have to be there all the time unless you're working, going to and from work. Medical appointments, court proceedings, this or any other case, appointment with an attorney, probation officer, this or any other case, you may also attend any kind of educational programming. Also, you can attend church services, other than that, you have to be there all the time. And if you fail to comply with that, then the court could revoke or actually order your release or arrest and have you held until further order of the court. You have any questions?
I do. I also need to make a statement or talk
No, we
to
don't
my
need to
lawyer.
make a statement. I asked you if you had any questions. If you have any questions, I'll answer. Other than that, you can keep silent until you talk to your attorney.
Okay, I have a question then, Your Honor. I'm sorry. I have 5 F5s in Clinton County.
You what?
I have 5 F5s also in Clinton County that are previous from this. Do you know how I would go about those as well?
So that's what attorney or that court over there. We don't have anything to do with that. If you, have a holder on you, the may come get you, but you just have to talk to somebody over there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I just told you. Put in the thing.
Do you have your file?
Yes, sir.
Case number 22-153, State of Ohio versus Amber Coyle. Ms. Coyle, you were indicted in a multi-count indictment along with 3 other defendants yesterday by the grand jury. You were indicted in count 1, which alleges that you and Mr. Pence on or about March 12th of last year, knowingly obtained, possessed, or used fentanyl related compound. Count 2 alleges on about the same day in this county, you normally obtained, possessed, or used methamphetamine. Count 5 alleges that on or about November 4, 2021 in this county that Teresa Ann Sharp became one of the sole properties of methamphetamine. And then count 6 alleges on or about the same date the 2 of you normally possess that methamphetamine. Count 1, 2, counts 1, 2, and 6 are 5th degree felonies, carry a possible prison term between 6 to 12 months, and fine $2,500 convicted. Count 5 is a 4th degree felony, carries a possible prison term between 6 and 18 months, and fine $5,000 convicted. There's also a possible license suspension, 6 months to 5 years for each of those offenses. Now, you're entitled to have an attorney to represent you, and you can afford to hire one court will appoint one for you. And I believe you fill out a financial disclosure form. Is everything on this form correct?
Yes, sir.
When's the last time you were employed?
I did seasonal work at Snow Hill, and I haven't went back to work this season yet. That was
Where was it?
Snow Hill.
Okay. Have you been in court and discharged previously?
No, sir.
All right. The court finds your entitled to appoint counsel. I'll appoint Attorney Danielle Witt to represent you. And in the absence of counsel, I'll enter a non-guilty plea on your behalf. Will be a bail review hearing Monday morning, 11 at 9 a.m. First pre-trial will be August 3rd at 1 p.m. on Zoom. Final pre-trial will be September the 7th at 1 p.m. Trial date will be September the 26th at 8 a.m. Bond will be set at $2,500 plus your cognizance, which is your time to appear. Fail to appear, you could be prosecuted for additional felony. And if convicted, sentenced to that matter act in this case, will also be required to pay a deposit of $171 in certain statutory required fees prior to release. May bond will be under pre-trial supervision probation department, 117 East Main Street. We report that immediately upon your release. You're required to report that once a week for 4 weeks, and after that, as they determine, and for ready drug testing in the order, provide phone numbers for home self-employer, not have any contact with Mr. Pence. I recommend by probation, you evaluate substance abuse and mental health issues, and the treatment indicated. You'll roll in and follow that during pendency of this action. Also, again, house arrest, you have to be at your residence at 6193 Roundhead Road, Indiana, at all times. Unless you're working, going to and from work, medical appointments, court proceedings, this or any other case, appointment with attorney, probation officer, this or any other case, go to any kind of schooling, job training, college classes, GED classes, etc. You go to church services. The nights have to be there all the time. Be able to provide work with revoke that law and be able to We'll notify your attorney of her appointment. If you have any questions?
No, sir.
All right, thank you.
I'm talking a little bit. No, sir.
All right, are you Michael Barber?
Yes.
Alright, case number 22-0154, Dave Lyon versus Michael Barber. Mr. Barber, you were indicted by the grand jury yesterday, along with several other co-defendants. It looks like you were indicted in counts 7 and 8. Count 7 is aggravated trafficking of methamphetamine, and it alleges that on or about October 16th of last year, that a 3-stand shark and you knowingly sold or offered yourself methamphetamine. Count 8 alleges on or about the same day you possessed that. Those are both, count 7 is a 4th degree felony, which if convicted carries possible prison term between 6 and 14 months, and a fine of, 6 and 18 months, and a fine of $5,000. And the other count is a 5th degree felony, which carries a possible prison term if convicted between 6 and 12 months, and a fine of $2,500. You are entitled to have an attorney to represent you, and I see you have filled out a financial disclosure form. Looks like the officer assisted you with that. Do you have any, is everything on well, let me ask you, are you working?
No, I'm disabled.
All right, you're getting Social Security. Are you getting any disability?
Yes.
Okay. SSI?
Yes.
All right. All right, well, the court then will find that you are entitled to appoint counsel. And I will appoint, let's see, appoint attorney William Armstrong to represent you in the absence of counsel. I'll enter a not guilty plea on your behalf. We will set a bail review hearing for Monday morning, the 11th, 9 a.m. First pre-trial will be August the 3rd, 1 p.m. by Zoom. Final pre-trial will be September the 7th, 1 p.m. by Zoom. Trial date will be September 26th at 8 a.m. in person. Bond will be set in the amount of $2,500. Plus your recognizance that your crimes will appear. If you fail to appear, then you could be prosecuted for additional felony. And if convicted, since on that, I don't have in this case, you'll be required to pay a deposit of $171 for statutory required fees prior to release. And make bond, you will be under pretrial supervision of the probation department. You're report there immediately after court or after release. And then once a week, 4 weeks after that, as they determine, undergo random drug testing that may order by home, supplements from homestone employer, and no contact with Amber Boyle, Grace Sharp. Or Christopher Pence. If recommended by probation, you'll be evaluated for substance abuse and mental health issues. And treatments indicated, you can roll in followed after commencing this action. You'll also be under house arrest at your residence at 6667 Golden Lane in Hillsborough. You have to be there all the time unless you're working, going to and from work, medical appointments, court proceedings, in this or any other case. Appointment for the attorney probation officer in this or any other case. Then any kind of schooling, job training, education programming, or church services, other than that, you have to be there all the time. If you fail to comply, the court could revoke that bond and have you held till further order. You have any questions, Mr. Barber?
No.
All right, thank you. Notify your attorney of this appointment and have a jail review hearing Monday. Are you Teresa Ann Sharp?
Yes, sir.
Alright, this is case number 22 CR 155. In Ohio, was Teresa Ann Sharp, Ms. Sharp prepared on video from the Justice Center. Ms. Sharp, you were indicted by the grand jury yesterday on 3 co-defendants. So you were indicted in counts 5 through 16. Count 5 is aggravated trafficking of methamphetamine. Alleged to run about November 4, you and a can of oil only sold or offered to sell methamphetamine in this county. Count 6 alleged on about the same day you possessed it. Count 7 also alleged on about October 16, 2021, you and Michael Barber sold methamphetamine. Count 8 alleged on about the same day you possessed it. Count 9 alleged that on or about March 19, 2021, you sold or offered to sell methamphetamine. Count 10 alleged on the same day you don't possess that. Count 11 alleges that on or about August 14, 2021, you only sold methamphetamine. Count 12 alleges on the same day you possessed that. Count 13 alleges on or about August 16, 2021, you only sold methamphetamine. Count 14 alleges on about the same day you only possessed that. Count 15 alleges on or about September 10, 2021, you only sold or offered to sell methamphetamine. And then count 16 alleges that you on or about the same day you possessed it. Now, all of the aggravated trafficking charges report 3 felonies, share a possible prison term for the victim, 26 to 18 months, and a fine of $5,000. The aggravated possession charges each are 53 felonies, carry a possible prison term of 26 at 12 months, and a fine of $25,000. You are entitled to have an attorney to represent you, and you can't afford to hire one for you. I believe he filled out a financial disclosure form as well. Everything on this form correct?
Yes, sir.
Alright, you're on SSI?
Yes.
Alright. Court will find that you are indigent. I'll appoint attorney Jacob Wagner of the Hillsborough to represent you and are not going to plea on your behalf. They will be hearing for Monday the 11th at 9 a.m. I assume the first pre-trial will be August 3rd at 1 p.m. I assume. The final pre-trial will be September 7th at 1 p.m. I assume. And the trial will be September 26th at 8 a.m. That will be in person. So on the set, you have $5,000 plus other coverages. Your promise to appear, fail to appear, could be prosecuted for additional felony and convicted. Sentence on aggravated after this case should be required to pay a $171 deposit prior to release of statutory required fees. You can make bail. You report to the probation department on 17 Main Street. Immediately upon release. And then after that, 1 week, 4 weeks, and then if they determine that we'll grant drug testing in order by someone from the local employee, and those contacts any of the co-defendants in this case, if recommended by probation, will be evaluated for substance mental health issues, and treatment indicated, all that, for intensity of action, will also get a house arrest for the resident, 26 East Lily, Lot 10, Hillsborough. He has to be there all the time, unless you're working, going to drug work, medical appointment, court proceedings, and any other case, appointment with an attorney, probation officer, considering education, also any kind of school, education program, or church services, other than that, have to be there all the time. And if you fail to comply, then the court could revoke that law and you fail to sort of order the court. Do you have any questions, Ms. Sharp?
No, sir.
All right, we'll notify your attorney of your disappointment, and we'll have your bail review hearing done for all things. Travis Levens?
Yes, sir.
All right, this case number 22-CR-156, state of Ohio, Mr. Travis Levens. Levens is appearing from the jail video. Levens, you were indicted by the grand jury yesterday on 6 offenses. The first one is trafficking in heroin. Alleged is on or about November 1st last year. You only sold or offered to sell heroin. Count 2. Alleged is on or about the same date. You knowingly possessed a fentanyl-related compound. Count 3. Alleged is on or about November 5, 2021. You knowingly sold or offered to sell fentanyl-related compound. Count 4. Alleged is on or about the same date. You possessed that same compound. Count 5. Alleged on or about November 19th. Last year, in this county, sold or offered to sell fentanyl-related compound. Then count 6 alleged on about the same day. That. Now, counts 1, 2, 4, and 6 are all 5th-degree felonies. Which carry a loss of prison term convicted of between 6 and 12 months, and a fine of $2,500. And then the other counts are 4th-degree felonies. Each of those carry a loss of prison term convicted of between 6 and 18 months, and a fine of $5,000. All of them carry a possible prison term, license suspension of 6 months and 5 years. If you are entitled to have an attorney to represent you, if you cannot afford to hire an attorney for appointment for you, I believe we did fill out a financial disclosure form. Is everything on this form correct? Is everything on this form correct? Okay, it says you're making about $550 to $650 a month. Where are you working?
That's the past maybe 4 months. Since it's been warmer out, I'm able to actually, work on my aunt's house, which is on our property. And she's wanting to pay to do that and pay me to work on the property, and my neighbors want this house done, so.
Right, so you basically just been doing odd jobs yourself?
Yes, sir.
All right. Court then will find that you're entitled to appoint counsel.
What is it?
I will appoint Attorney Dennis Kirk for you, and in the absence of counsel, I'll enter a non-guilty plea on your behalf. Have you been previously convicted of a felony?
I've never had a felony.
All right. The court will set your first retrial for August the 3rd at 2:30 p.m. Final pretrial will be September the 7th, 1 p.m. I'm sorry, 2:30 p.m. And your trial date will be September the 26th at 8 a.m. Going to release you under oath of recognizance, which is your promise will appear. If you fail to appear, then you could be prosecuted for additional felony, and if convicted, sentenced on that, no matter what happens in this case. You'll be required to pay a deposit of $171 within 30 days to the clerk. That's a secure payment of statutorily required fees. You'll be under pretrial supervision of the probation department at 117 Main Street. You're to report to them immediately upon your release. You're required to report to them once a week for 4 weeks. After that, as they determine. Undergo random drug testing that they order, provide tolerance for home self-employer. Recommended by probation, you'll be evaluated for substance abuse and mental health issues as many treatments indicated. You're to enroll in and follow that during the pendency of this action. Will also be under house arrest at your residence at 69 Pretty Hill Road, Middletown. Means you have to be there at all times unless you're working, going to and from work, medical appointments, court proceedings, in this or any other case, appointment with an attorney or probation officer in this or any other case. Also go to any kind of educational programs, job training, etc. And church services. Other than that, you have to be there all the time. If you don't comply, then the court could revoke that bond and have it held for further order of the court. Any questions, Mr. Levin?
So there is a chance that I can, still, get out today, and, so I gotta figure something out.
Order you to be released. Yeah, OR means that you're gonna sign that bond and be released today, and go to the probation department immediately upon your release.
Thank you very much.
All right. Tiffany Green. Next. All right, are you Tiffany L. Green?
Yes, I am.
All right, this case number 22 CR 157, Dave Ohio versus Tiffany L. Green. Mr. Reed's occurring from the Justice Center by video. You were indicted, Ms. Green, along with two co-defendants yesterday by the grand jury. You were indicted in case counts number 3 to 8 and 15 to 22. You're indicted count 3 for aggravated trafficking in methamphetamine in school along with Mr. Miller. Alleged that on or about October 1st of last year, the two of you sold Robert methamphetamine, amount equal to the city involved amount, less than 5 times that amount in the vicinity of school. That's a second-degree felony, which carries a mandatory prison term between 2 and 8 years set by the judge, with up to an additional 50% being added on by the Department of Corrections, and a fine of $15,000. Now, 4 alleged on or about the same day to possess that. Count 5 alleges that on or about September 29 last year, Mr. Miller, you only sold the Robert methamphetamine. Count 6 alleges on about the same day to possess it. Count 4 is a third-degree felony, which carries a possible prison term between 9 and 36 months, fine $10,000. Count 5 is a fourth-degree felony, carries count 6, I should say. Count 5. Count 4 is aggravated possession, I'm sorry. Count 5 is aggravated trafficking, that's fourth-degree felony, and that's 6 to 18 months, fine of $5,000. Count 6 is aggravated possession of the same date as count 5 of the fifth-degree felony, and that's 6 to 12 months, fine $25. Count 7 alleges that on or about October 6th last year in this county, he sold off methamphetamine also city hall, vicinity school zone. That's a second-degree felony, same penalty as count 3. Count 8 alleges possession on that date, and that's third-degree felony, same penalty as I described earlier. And then count 15 alleges that count 15 and 16 are both committing drug abuse, and alleged on or about October 1, 2021, count 15 that you know that committed a vehicle reuse and felony drug abuse offense. And count 16 alleged on about October 3rd, he did the same thing. Those are both fifth-degree felonies. Count 17 is another charge of aggravated trafficking in school. Alleged occurred on October 17, 2021. That's also a second-degree felony. Count 18 is a third-degree felony, aggravated possession date of that same date as 17. Count 19 is aggravated trafficking methamphetamine. That is alleged on about October 19. They only sold around that in that overall less than 5 times. Count 20 alleged on the same day to possess that. Count 21 alleged on about October 22, 2021. They only sold around methamphetamine. Now you can prove city ball. Less than 5 times ball considered school, Google, and count 22 alleged on about the same day to possess that amount. So you have several second-degree felonies, and those are mandatory earned by the way, early release or community control probation. You're entitled to have an attorney to represent you, and if you cannot afford to hire one, the court will appoint one for you. And so you have filled out the financial disclosure form. Is everything on that form looking at correct? Everything on that part correct?
As far as I know.
Okay. You're not working?
No, I'm not.
When was the last time you were employed?
About 2 months.
All right. Court will find that your entitled to any counsel appointment for police harm traffic represents you. The absence of counsel while uttering non-guilty plea on your behalf. We will set a bail review hearing for Monday morning, the 11th of July at 9 a.m. First pre-trial will be August the 17th at 1 p.m. by Zoom. Final pre-trial will be September the 7th at 1 p.m. by Zoom. Your trial will be set for September the 26th at 8 a.m. That will be in person. Bond will be set in the amount of $20,000 plus OR bond, which is your responsible here. If you fail to appear, you could be prosecuted for additional felony. Be required to pay a bond of $171 to cover statutory required fees prior to being released. If you make bond, you report to the probation department at 117 Main Street immediately after your release. We'll report to them once a week for 4 weeks, and after that, as they determine, we'll go around drug testing in the order. Provide phone numbers for home, cell, employer. Have no contact with co-defendants. Recommended by probation, evaluate substance abuse, mental health issues, and treatment indicated. Roll in and follow that for intensive exemption. You also get a house arrest for residents in 1-6 West Josie and Hillsborough, meaning you have to be there all the time. Unless you're working, going to and from work, medical appointments, court proceedings, this or any other case, appointments with an attorney or probation officer, this or any other case, and educational programming, job training, etc. You may also attend church services. Other than that, you have to be there all the time. And if you fail to comply, then the court could revoke that law and have you held no further order of the court. Do you have any questions, Ms. Green? Thank you. All fine here. Case number 22-0159, in Ohio versus Thomas Barney Jr. You're Thomas Barney Jr.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Barney, you were indicted by the grand jury yesterday, along with 2 other co-defendants. And it looks like you're indicted in counts 1 and 2, and 11 through 14. Count 1 alleges that on or about October 1st of last year in this county, that Anthony Miller Review only sold off himself methamphetamine in an amount equal to exceeding ball 105 times ball in the vicinity of school. Count 2 alleges on about the same date that he possessed that amount. Count 11 alleges that on or about October 3rd, 2021, he did the same thing, charged in count 1. Aggravated traffic incident in the school zone. Count 12, alleged on or about the same day, October 3rd, that's that amount set forth in count 11. Count 13, alleged on or about October 8th, 2021, he only sold off himself methamphetamine, same overall, that's a 5 times ball in the school. And count 14, alleged on or about October 8th, 2021, is the purpose to deprive the Huntington passport of property and only intended to control over that by deception, with $155 currency. Now, count 1, 11, and 13 are all second-degree felonies. Mr. Barney was carried in for a prison term of at least 2 years, up to 8 years, as set by the judge. The possibility of an additional period up to 50% being added to that sentence by the Department of Corrections. There's a fine of $15,000, possible life suspension, 6 months to 5 years. And then the Other accounts are, third-degree felonies, the possessions, and those are, punishable by between 9 and 36 months, and a fine of $10,000. And count 14, theft charge, misdemeanor was very possible. 6 months to be a $1,000 fine. All the drug offenses very possible license and 6 months, 5 years. And you're entitled to have attorney representation, Mr. Barney, and you can afford to hire one, formal appointment for you. And, I think I saw it. Yeah, there's just a nice disclosure form. You, is everything on this form correct?
Yes, sir.
Alright. When was the last time you worked?
Actually, just put an application in for a job and had an interview, Tuesday, and got the job, and now I got this.
Alright. So the court will find you're entitled to appoint counsel. I'll appoint attorney Jacob Wagner to represent you. In the absence of an attorney, I will enter a non-guilty plea in behalf. We will set a bail review hearing for you Monday morning at 9 a.m. That's the 11th. We might Zoom. Your first pre-trial will be August the 17th at 1 p.m. by Zoom. Pre-trial will be September 7th at 1 p.m. by Zoom. Your trial date will be September 26th at in person at 8 a.m. All be set. First case in the amount of $20,000 plus your own recognizance, which is your promise to appear. If you fail to appear, then the would be subject prosecution for additional felony. And if convicted, sentenced, you can be sentenced on that no matter what happens in this case. You'll also be required to pay a deposit of $171 for your statutory required fees. You'll get the bank bond. You'll be under pretrial supervision of the probation department. You're reporting them immediately upon your release. Within once a week for 4 weeks, and after that, as they determine, they go right to drug tests as they order by order from home self-employer, not having contact with the co-defendant. If recommended by probation, you evaluate for substance abuse and/or mental health issues, and any treatment indicated will roll in and fall after tendency of this action. And you also get your house arrest at your residence at 6715 Golden Lane, Hillsborough, which means that you must be there at all times, whether you're working, going to and from work, medical appointments, court proceedings, in this or any other case, appointments of attorney or probation officer, in this or any other case. We also attend church services and any kind of educational programming. If you fail to comply with those conditions, then the court could revoke bond and held further report. You have any questions, Mr. Barney? All right, we'll notify your attorney of his appointment, and there'll be a bail review hearing Monday morning. Okay. All right. Well, is that everybody, Lieutenant?
Yeah, that's everybody.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Coleman versus Howard. There's one of those ORP with that, Mr. One OR. I didn't have a prior.
Ready?
Case number 22 CE 042, Shannon M. Coleman, Marcus D. Burns versus Nathan Allen, and Nathan Allen, DBA NC Corp. Present represented by Matt Bivens. The defendant is not present. The defendant was served with the complaint on March 28th, 2022, and SSC best served on NC. Actually, was served on March 24th. NC was served. And then on March 14th, Mr. Allen was served personally. That one was filed on March 23rd, before the other was filed on March 28th. So both defendants have been served. The defendants then moved, plaintiff then moved for a wrong judgment. The court set the matter for hearing date on damages, and Mr. Allen and NCA recalled non-certified judgment liability. The matter was set for damages hearing only. Mr. Allen is not present for any of the representative NC. The matter was ordered to be heard at 10 a.m. Now it's 10:07. We'll let proceed. Ms. Bivens?
I would first, if I may approach, I do have a book with
Good. All right, yes, you may.
On the front cover is a plaintiff's exhibit list. Inside are all the exhibits to be entered, as well as the opening cover is a summary of damages for the court honor.
We're going to have a witness on this one.
And then first, I'd like to call Shannon Coleman.
Yeah, all right. I'm sorry, now Shannon, sorry. Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear the testimony about giving the truth, whole truth, nothing but yourself.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to ask you to testify up there because it's a little hard for me to hear people down there. So, with that witness, see their witness in and see the microphone with red light that's on the sliding board. Slide that clear over to your left as far as we'll go. Please keep your voice up and answer your question. All right, thank you. Inquiry.
Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record?
Shannon M. Coleman,
And what's your address, Ms. Coleman?
10323 Posh Road, Leesburg, Ohio, 45135.
And are you one of the registered property owners of that address?
Yes.
And if you would just open your book to Plaintiff's Exhibit 1. Did you make contact with Nathan Howland or Nathan Howland doing business as NC Corp in an effort to obtain some construction services at that property?
Yes.
And if you would please look at Plaintiff's Exhibit 1, both page 1 and 2. Is this a true and accurate representation of a quote that was prepared along with a contract that was executed between yourself and Mr. Howland?
Yes.
And what was the scope of the work that was to be performed at your residence on Posh Road?
We were supposed to get a 50 by 60 pole barn with one main door, concrete flooring, basic electric, and a 24 by 32 lean-to with a restroom in the back corner, a roof on the house, plumbing to the septic, and a concrete floor.
And what was the total that was to be paid for all of those services?
45,781.
Is that the total listed on the contract?
No.
Sorry. What was the total on the contract for all the services to be done before?
51,597.
Okay.
Is that due to the addition of the garage door? Let's see, that's right on that. That's the difference in the original quote.
Actually, the contract and the original quote are the exact same.
Oh,
Your Honor, yes.
all right.
They're both 51,597.
All right.
And based upon that quote, you did execute this contract with Mr. Howland on February 8th, 2021.
Yes.
And this is, Exhibit 1 is a true and accurate representation of that contract.
Yes.
Okay. Were you required to make a down payment for these services?
Yes. 60%.
Okay. And did you make that payment?
Yes.
If you would flip to the third page, it's labeled as Plaintiff's Exhibit 2-1. Is this a true and accurate representation of the check that you wrote to NC Corp for that down payment?
Yes.
And what was the amount that was requested?
$30,958.
Okay. Did Mr. Howland complete any work after he had received this payment?
Yes.
And what work did he complete on the
He
contract?
put the poles in for the building.
Okay. Did he do any work on the home?
Yes.
And if you go back to the second page of the contract listed as Exhibit 1, could you identify the amount that was billed for the roof on the house?
$8,363.
After the roof was completed, did he ask for any additional payments from you?
Yes.
Okay, you turn to Plaintiff's Exhibit 2-2. Is this a true and accurate representation of a check that you issued to Nathan Howland as NC Corp?
Yes.
And what's the date of this check?
March 24, 2021.
And how much did you give to Mr. Howland that night?
$7,823.
You turn to Plaintiff's Exhibit 2-3. Is this a true and accurate representation of a check that you issued to Mr. Howland doing business as NC Corp?
Yes.
And what's the date of this check?
April 16, 2021.
And how much did you give to him?
$6,000.
Okay. You would turn to Plaintiff's Exhibit 2-4. Is this a true and accurate representation of a check that you issued to Mr. Howland doing business as NC Corp?
Yes.
And what's the date of this check?
April 16, 2021.
And how much was that check for?
$1,000.
Okay. And of the 4 checks you gave him, in total, how much money did you give Mr. Howland?
$45,781.
Okay. And at that time, the only portion of the work that had been completed was the roof on your residential home.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. If you could turn to Plaintiff's Exhibit 3. After completing that roof, when did Mr. Howland commence work on the remaining services, the construction of the barn?
He started putting the posts in July.
Okay. And was there an issue with him being able to pay for the materials to start the barn?
Yes.
And if you would look at Plaintiff's Exhibit 3-1, is this a true and accurate representation of a check that you wrote to Mickey and Sons Trusses?
Yes.
And when was that check dated?
July 7, 2021.
And how much was that for?
$4,762.40.
And did you issue that check for the purchase of trusses for the construction of the barn?
Yes.
Okay. If you would turn to Plaintiff's Exhibit 3-2, is this a true and accurate representation of a Lowe's credit card statement in your name?
Yes.
And what was the nature of the purchases on this statement?
To buy material to start the siding of the building.
Okay. Was this also material to start setting the posts as
yes.
well? And how much was that purchase?
$6,000.48.
Okay. And those were purchases of materials that were supposed to be covered under the $45,000 you've already given, correct?
Yes.
But at that point, he admitted he no longer had any of that money?
Yes.
And that's why you had to make these purchases?
Yes.
I have no further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Okay. Shut down. Further witnesses?
I'd like to call Marcus Burns, Your Honor.
First, raise your hands. Some sort of testimony about being the people who know what you're talking about.
Yes, sir.
That's it, right? That's it, please. Okay, Clark.
Please state your name for the record, Mr. Burns.
Marcus C. Burns.
And what's your address?
102 Foster.
And are you one of the record property owners of that address, 1033 Foster Road?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you aware of the services that were contracted for between Ms. Coleman and Mr. Allen?
Yes, sir.
And the contract, if you want to put in your book, previously referenced as Exhibit 1, that's a true and accurate representation of the services that he was to perform at your property, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You want to turn to Plaintiff's Exhibit 4. Ms. Coleman had already previously testified that there was some start on work on the barn in July of 2021. Did you receive a text message from Mr. Allen on July 6th of 2021?
Yes, ma'am.
You could turn to page 2 of that Exhibit 4. And actually, if you could just flip through the full Exhibit 4 first for me. Is this a true and accurate representation of a group text message that you, Ms. Coleman, and Mr. Howland had regarding the project at your property?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And in specific, page 2, this was a text message you received on July 6th, 2021.
Yes, ma'am.
And could you just read this text message for the board, please? Page 2, my apologies, of Exhibit 4. It should be at the bottom, they listed as page numbers. My apologies.
All right, page 2.
There you go.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
So first and foremost, I want to say that in the beginning when we was waiting for the first set of trusses, I used that money I shouldn't have, and it's obvious I aren't done, and we canceled that. I was waiting on the next set from the Amish guy, and we canceled that, which I have still not been paid back on from him. But I should have regrouped, and I fell through, which left me holding a bag, and I apologize for that. I want you guys to have the best building that you can have, and I'm just telling you this because I have been just telling you this because I have to get it off my chest. I will never ever speak to you guys for any type of money. I promise you that. I will sell my home before I get you for one single dollar, its first single dollar. But I have two different ways that we can do and get your building up by not this Friday, but next. And I'm going to send that over, but it might take a minute to text them. To be honest, I'm too embarrassed to talk on the phone. I'm just trying to be as upfront and honest as I can. At this point, I do not want to lose Marcus' friendship, and I do not want to let him down. If you feel like it has gone too far, I know I have broken trust, especially after this message, but I'm willing to repair the trust and do everything I can do to make this right. And you still get the building you want. Give me a few minutes for both of you respond, so I know you both receive this.
And that message was sent to you by Nathan Allen.
Yes, I appreciate it.
And in that message, he admits that he no longer had the money that he from this moment had paid him up front.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if you can turn to the next page, which is page 3, did he offer a solution to get the building constructed?
That's what I would say, that's no problem.
Okay, well,
Let's just go ahead.
okay, all right.
He's
So,
in the fault.
okay. So, you worked out a plan where you would pay for the materials and he would still continue to work. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you agreed to that plan?
Yes, sir.
And so, based upon that plan, Ms. Coleman purchased the materials she already tested through the trusses and the other wood, correct?
Correct.
If you could turn to Plaintiff's Exhibit 6. After those materials were purchased, is this a picture of the barn that you took in July of 2021?
Yes, ma'am.
And this is a true and accurate representation of the work that Mr. Allen performed on the barn.
Correct.
And so basically, what did he complete on the barn himself?
Pretty much this set for a long time.
Okay.
The board.
Yeah. But he paid for none of these materials?
No.
How much time do you think he spent out there doing this?
For that, it's,
Okay. After those posts were set, was there a breakdown in your relationship with Mr. Howland again?
yes.
Yes. And did he end up leaving the project in late July of 2021?
Correct.
You could just turn to Plaintiff's Exhibit 7. Is this a picture that you took, Mr. Burns?
Yes.
And is this a true and accurate representation of the condition of the barn when Mr. Howland left the project?
Correct.
And of the work that was completed from Exhibit 6 to Exhibit 7, how much of that was actually done by Mr. Howland?
Very little, maybe one side did that.
Okay.
Right.
So did you hire other people
Yes.
to come and complete the work?
Yes, sir.
Okay. After late July of 2021, did Mr. Howland ever return to your property to finish any more work with the barn?
No, ma'am.
You want to turn back to Plaintiff's Exhibit 3. I'll let you get back here first. It's about 6 pages in from the front. Start at 3:3. As already testified to, you know that the materials used to get to the position you were at the end of July were paid for by you and Ms. Coleman. Did you have to pay for any additional materials and hire additional labor to complete the barn?
Yes.
Okay. On Plaintiff's Exhibit 3:3, is this a copy of a receipt for services from David Reeves for equipment used to construct the barn?
Correct.
And how much was the value of that cost?
This cost was $800.
Okay. Turn to the next receipt. Is this a true and accurate representation of a receipt from Garber Lumber?
Correct.
And this is materials that you purchased to pay for finishing construction on the barn?
Correct.
And how much was the value that you spent there?
Honestly, $5,066.
I think you're one.
5,856.
25,856.
Yeah.
Yes, it is faint. My apologies. Turn to the next page. Did you have to go to Lowe's to purchase materials as well?
Many times.
Many times. This receipt presented right here, is this a receipt from Lowe's for purchases of materials to complete the barn?
Correct.
And what is the total of that receipt?
I want to say $249.
I believe it's 82. It's a little faded as well.
Oh, like 80.
There you go. My apologies. And the next page is another receipt for materials you had to purchase at Lowe's.
Yes.
And what's the total of that receipt?
$29.
Turn to the next page, Plaintiff's Exhibit 3-7. This is another receipt for materials purchased from Lowe's, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And those were used to complete the construction of the barn?
Correct.
And what's the total for that expenditure?
$164.96.
Turn to the next page, which is Plaintiff's Exhibit 3-8. Are there 2 Lowe's receipts included on this page?
Yes.
And what were the values of the items purchased on those trips?
One price is $24.15. The other price is $161.90.
And that's all materials that you used for completion of the barn
Yes.
construction? Okay. In terms of plaintiff's exhibit 3-9, is this a true and accurate representation of a receipt from Skyline Material Sales?
Correct.
And this was money you paid for materials for the barn? And what materials?
That's like metal, rapidly, metal.
Okay, and what was the total that you paid for those materials?
$98,675 and 33 cents.
Okay. Turn to the next page, which is exhibit 310. Is this a true and accurate representation of a receipt from Dance Steel and Farm Supply?
Yes.
And did you purchase materials there to help complete construction of the barn?
Yes.
And what was the total value of the materials you purchased?
$263 and 84 cents.
Okay. Turn to the next page, plaintiff exhibit 11. Is this a true and accurate representation of a receipt for materials from Red Creek Construction?
Correct.
And what was the purpose for this purchase?
This cement in the building.
Okay. And that was included under the original contract with Mr.
Yes.
Allen? Okay. And what was the total you paid to Red Creek?
$12,200.
Okay. You turn to plaintiff's exhibit 3-12. Is this a true and accurate representation of a receipt from TCM Seamless Gutters?
Yes, ma'am.
And this was for what materials for the barn?
For the building outside together.
Okay. And how much did that cost?
$600.
Okay. You turn to plaintiff's exhibit 3-13. Is this a receipt for materials you purchased for the barn?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was the nature of those materials?
This electric is the nature. Run electric from the house to the building.
And that was part of the original contract with Mr. Mullins?
Yes.
Specifically. And what was the value, what was the amount you had to pay for that?
$898.
Okay. Turn to exhibit 3-14. Is this a true and accurate representation of receipt you received from Ohio Asphaltic Limestone Corp?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was the nature of this purchase?
This was the start of gravel base for the cement
Inside the barn?
inside the barn.
Okay. And what was the total that you had to pay for that?
$306 and 74 cents.
That's plaintiff's exhibit 3-14, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Turn to plaintiff's exhibit 3-15. Is this a true and accurate representation of a bill you received from Higgins Steel Roofing and Building Materials?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was the reason that this purchase was made?
This is the purpose of the bathroom and the building inside the building.
Okay. Which was part of the original contract? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And what was the total amount you had to pay for that?
$166 and 2 cents.
Okay. You can turn to plaintiff's exhibit 3-16. Is this a true and accurate representation of a receipt for services from David Erkenbrecher?
Yes, ma'am.
And what did you hire Mr. Erkenbrecher for?
To help build the bathroom and the pole barn,
Which was originally
which was
included.
originally supposed to be in play.
Yep. And how much did Mr. Erkenbrecher's services cost?
$1,950 plus the fuel charge.
That's plaintiff's exhibit 3-16.
Yes, ma'am.
Plaintiff's exhibits 3-17 through 20. You originally testified you went to Lowe's several times. Are these additional receipts from
Yes,
Lowe's? Okay. Plaintiff's exhibit 3-17, is this a receipt for materials you purchased for completion,
Yes,
construction? And what's the value that you spent there?
$87 and 36 cents.
Okay. And on plaintiff's exhibit 3-19, another receipt from Lowe's at 3-18. The next one, sorry. And is this another receipt from Lowe's?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's a true and accurate representation of a receipt where you purchased materials for the barn?
Yes, ma'am.
And what's the total value you spent?
$71.75.
Okay. And plaintiff's exhibit 3-19, is this another receipt from Lowe's?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's a true and accurate representation of a receipt for materials that you purchased for the barn?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was the total spent?
It's what was it, 17 $717.01.
And on plaintiff's exhibit 3-20, is this another receipts from Pleas Home Center?
Yes, sir.
And what is the total amount of this receipt?
$192.96.
And that was for purchase of materials to complete farm construction. Okay. And then finally, on plaintiff's exhibit 3-21, is this a true and accurate representation of a receipt that you received from Mr. Erkenbrecher?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was the nature of this expenditure?
Part of that one.
Okay.
It's $450.
Okay. And that's what we paid Mr. Erkenbrecher for services to complete the bathroom inside the barn?
Yes, ma'am.
If you add all of these receipts up, is the total paid for materials and other labor and services to complete the barn $52,552.23?
Yes.
And that's money paid to people other than Nathan Allen or for materials purchased?
Yes, ma'am.
In the back of your book, Your Honor, there is a letter marked Plaintiff's Exhibit 8. I want to turn back to your book as well, Mr. Burns. Is this a letter that you requested my office send to Mr. Allen at NC Corp requesting return of the money you paid him?
Yes, ma'am.
And is it dated September 21st, 2021?
Yes, ma'am.
And as of today, have you ever received any of the money back that you paid Mr. Allen for any of the work that he was supposed to perform?
No, ma'am.
I have no further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
All right, any further witnesses?
No, Your Honor, I would just ask that the court enter into evidence plaintiff's exhibits 1 through 8 as presented to the court.
Very good. And then I also ask the summary of damages that you provided in the book.
Yes,
So that again, the total cost of exhibit 2 was $47,118 and exhibit 3 $96,18.
Yes, that would be the total amount of damages, the payments made in excess of what the original contract price called for.
As far as the request for attorney fees, based on fraud claim,
Yes, Your Honor, and also based upon a request for any punitive or exemplary damages under Ohio Revised Code Section 2315.21B3, considering that we filed a claim for conversion for the exertion of dominion and control over the $37,118 that Mr. Allen has retained possession of, even though he's been requested to pay it back.
any further?
No, Your Honor.
All right. The court will find that the defendant is in default as all claims, both defendants are involved, and the court will award judgment and damages against both defendants in this period. Allen was with business in NC Court, was the primary person involved in that, and also was the one who was acting after the version. So, again, when I serve judgment for damages in the amount of $37,118, as outlined in Exhibit 2, $9,618, presented as outlined in Exhibit 3. Possibly awarded, I'm not putting a limit on that, but the are probably not $200, probably less, it's more, whatever it is, for judgment for cost. Very fees will be worth around $1,500. With regard to damages, there's a question that did occur. Is saying why? Appears that this is an unfortunate situation on contract. They don't have enough money to start a job or else, so they have to get big payment up front, which in my experience is always kind of a red flag. And, it's always better to do business if you can with contractors and what technical has, that are more stable on the other hand. Hard to get somebody to do this, do per now, is hard it is, so, you know, you don't often have that luxury, so, yeah, it appears that his biggest problem is, got in over his head and just couldn't keep up. But he did do some things that, misleading, so I'll award, punitive damages on that. So the total judgment, $53,136.33 plus costs. I'm sorry, wait, 48,436, or 236 plus 5,000, so that'd be 53,236.43 plus cost. And interest, it won't be post-judgment interest because this is not a contract claim, it's a definitive amount, so it's due, okay, and be determined by this proceeding, so post-judgment interest. If you was, prepare judgment entries, send that or email that to Mrs. Blair, and then I'll sign that, files, and you get over there. Yeah, you got everything you need?
I believe so.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Please rise. We don't have anything till 11 if you need to sit and talk for a while, or if you want to use the witness room. Okay.